A five-way solenoid valve is a type of directional control valve, commonly used in pneumatic and hydraulic systems to control the flow of fluid or gas and the operation of components like double-acting cylinders. The five-way refers to the number of ports on the valve, and when described as a 5-2-way valve, the 2 indicates the number of switching positions the valve spool can adopt. Here's a breakdown of what's typically inside and how it works. Inside a five-way solenoid valve. Valve body. This is the main housing of the valve, usually made of metal, like aluminum or brass or sometimes plastic. It contains the internal passages and ports. Ports: a five-way valve has 5 ports. 1 pressure port, P or 1. This is where the pressurized fluid or gas enters the valve from the supply. 2 outlet ports, A and B or 2 and 4. These ports connect to the actuator or system being controlled, e.g., the 2 ports of a double-acting cylinder. 2 exhaust ports, EA and EB or 3 and 5. These ports are where the fluid or gas from the actuator or system is released, usually to the atmosphere in pneumatic systems or back to the reservoir in hydraulic systems. Having 2 separate exhaust ports allows for more precise control of the exhaust from each side of a double-acting cylinder. Spool, or plunger armature. This is a movable internal component that slides within the valve body. The spool has lands, wider sections, in grooves, narrower sections, that align with the ports in different positions to direct the flow. Solenoid coil. This is an electrical coil wrapped around a core. When energized with an electric current, it creates a magnetic field. Spring, often in single solenoid valves. In valves with a single solenoid, often called monostable, a spring is used to return the spool to its default position when the electrical power to the solenoid is removed. Bistable valves have 2 solenoids and the spool remains in its last position until the other solenoid is energized. How it works. The working principle of a 5-way solenoid valve revolves around the movement of the spool, which is controlled by the solenoid. De-energized state, position 1. In its default or resting position, often maintained by a spring, or the absence of power to one solenoid in a bistable valve. The spool is positioned within the valve body, such that the pressure port, P, is connected to one of the outlet ports, say A, while the other outlet port B is connected to one of the exhaust ports, say EB. This allows fluid or gas to flow to one side of an actuator, potentially extending or retracting it, while allowing the fluid or gas on the other side to exhaust. Energized state, position 2. When the solenoid is energized or the other solenoid is energized in a bistable valve, the magnetic field generated by the coil pulls or pushes the spool to the other position. In this new position, the pressure port, P, is now connected to the other outlet port, B, and the first outlet port, A, is connected to the other exhaust port, EA. This reverses the flow of fluid or gas to the actuator, causing it to move in the opposite direction. In essence, the solenoid acts as an electrical actuator that shifts the mechanical spool. The spool's position dictates which ports are connected, thereby controlling the direction of the fluid or gas flow and, consequently, the movement of the connected actuator. The 5 ports in 2 positions provide the capability to both supply pressure to one side of an actuator and allow the other side to exhaust simultaneously, making them ideal for controlling double-acting cylinders and similar devices.